Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lucky Dog Truck Series Thursday nights here at Kentucky Motor Speedway. Not a track I don't think gets near enough love. I mean, I know that it kind of fell off there, and I don't think NASCAR runs here anymore, but this track has a certain amount of charm to it, sort of like a reverse Texas flat. Turn 3 and 4, banked turns 1 and 2. And that really throws off how you end up having to run this track, but I think we should have a pretty good show for us this evening. Starting here, we'll go through our lineup, starting on the, let's see if I can get, there we go. I think that's perfect. All right, so starting here on the pole, we have the 98 of Austin Collins. To his outside in second, we have the 78 of Gary Slapinski. Starting behind them in third is the number 6 of Brian Pierce, and to his outside we have the 89 of Mr. Randolph Richard. Starting in fifth, we have the 9 of John Held, and in sixth we have the 51 of Mr. Craig Mayer. Starting in seventh, we have the 37 of Doug Lockrow, and in eighth we have the 111 of John Henderson. Starting in ninth, we have the 58 of Chris Hogue. And starting in 10th, we have the 777 of Michael Pegg. Starting in 11th, we have the 19 of Ben Gear. And beside him, in 12th, be the 52 of Ralph Blair. Starting behind him in 13th, we have the 52. Oh, sorry. 59. Let me hit the right one. 59 of Ralph Blair. Starting behind him, we have the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. in 13th. And to his outside in 14th, we have the 129 of Kim Kraus. Starting in the 15th position, we have the 77 of Lee Staples. And in 16th, we have the 91 of Joel Guy. I would mention that I was starting 15th, but I'm your broadcaster. I'm in the booth. I was just turning some practice laps on the track, and man, this truck feels tight in one end of the track, feels loose as can be in the other end of the track. So however this pans out, these guys are going to have to figure out this truck. It's going to be an ever-changing deal this evening. Austin leads him here to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out here at Kentucky Motor Speedway. About a dead even start here from our front row. Austin and Gary side by side headed into turn 1. Austin, though, going to do his best to clear Gary before they get through turns 1 and 2. He's close, he's close, he's clear. That's exactly what he needed. Gary Slapinski gives him a bump there going down the back stretch. It's not the easiest thing in the world to make that pass on the outside here. You have to start second, fourth. I mean, you're almost guaranteed to lose positions there on, at least one position there on the initial start, just because these tires, there only seems to be one fast way to get around turns 1 and 2 here at Kentucky, whereas you make it down to 3 and 4, and you've got a few options. For the most part, this race appears to have already single filed out. Take a look back here, right around is that 52 I was seeing? No, these guys are really spread out here, getting some space in between them all. So go ahead, we'll look here against the 58 of Chris Hogue, 51 of Craig Mayer. This is back when these guys are really racing side by side. You saw Doug Lockrow there. I mean, he's making some moves. Craig Mayer trying to follow him through. We saw him fire his way around the 89 of Randolph Richard, made that pass work relatively painlessly. You see the different lines people are running. 58 of Chris Hogue, he's up there running up against the wall from turns 3 and 4. That's not really a fast way around this track, but man, you get a pretty good run going down the front stretch. Does not appear that it paid off more in that time, though. He loses position with 777 of Michael Pegg, and it looks like the 77 of Lee Staples is trying to follow Michael through. Chris Hogue has that outside lane. You see that really come into play right there, coming down the backstretch. But You see there's 3 different lanes being run here through turns 3 and 4. You got the 777 of Michael Pegg. He's running right down there on the bottom. In the 19 of Ben Gear behind him, he was running about half a lane up. And then you saw where the 77 of Staples trying to run that same line that Ben Gear was running. But then you also had the 58 of Chris Hogue running much higher. All these guys just looking for speed, grip, anything really they can find to try and make pace here. I'd say Kentucky's probably right up there with Indianapolis, one of those tracks that is not the easiest to run. I mean, for those who haven't figured out, they have it mastered. And for those of us, like myself, we're still trying to figure it out. It is a bit of an enigma. These things up here at the front definitely have single filed out. Austin Collins still here on lap 6 in the lead. Gary Savinsky holds steady about a tenth of a second behind Austin, just trying to, he's running a little bit of a lower line, just trying to take care of his tires. One of these days I'm gonna have to get with Austin, figure out how he's able to run that higher lane here and not burn his stuff up, because that's what I prefer to run, but I can't seem to last too long in a long green flag stint doing what he's doing, so I'm gonna have to get with him at some point. You see the 6 of Brian Pierce there, he's hanging right with him. He's running a little bit higher than Austin, not wanting to get caught directly. Looks like he got down a little bit, but not wanting to get caught directly in the jet wash behind these guys, because it'll tear you up. It is one of the most painful things dealing with dirty air here at Kentucky Motor Speedway. So we're going to take a look back here to our 4th place driver. That'd be the 37 of Doug Lockrow, who has been on the move. Doug here started in 7th, currently running 4th, so he's up 3 spots. Behind him, Craig Mayer started 6th, he's currently running 5th, so he's made up 1 position as they head through the trial. The 7 of Michael Pegg right behind him. He started 10th, currently running in 6th position, doing his best to get up there, showing a lot of speed here. The guy unfortunately going in the wrong direction with the 89 of Randolph Richard. Randolph started 4th, currently running 7th. And he's picked up to the rear bumper of Michael Pegg. He's trying to follow Michael around this track. And that's not necessarily a bad call. I know I've learned a lot just from following guys who are faster than me, or just at least have the line and the track figured out. And Randolph Richard following Michael. I mean, Michael is flying through this field. He is already up to the back bumper of the 51. Thinking about when he's going to try and make that move. We can go to the front here. Gary Savinsky. He's running a little bit of an interesting line there going through that trial, but he was looking high on the 98 the entire time. He's definitely entering higher than Austin is in turn 1. At least that's what it looked like. He entered a lot higher and then arced it down. This time, I'm going to guess, doesn't have the momentum to maybe try and fake out the 98 like I think he was probably trying to. You see that arc? He's up a little high. He dives it down to that yellow line and then slides out. He's making some good time. He's fallen off another 10th of a second from the 98. That 6 car still holding strong with him. We got 6 cars here, soon to be 7, I would say. Essentially under, I hesitate to say under a blanket. These guys hold very steady with each other. There is only 1 second from 1st to 6th. I mean, they're running single file line here. These guys all trying to figure out when do we want to go. I mean, I'd imagine they're all trying to save some tire here. It's not the easiest thing in the dude at this track to save any kind of tire. But these 6 all holding very steady, running very similar lap times. Their last time by, out of these top 6, Austin was the slowest. But, you know, that's all, we're talking hundredths of a second. So it's not like he's losing any kind of major time with these guys. He's just currently the guy pulling them along. And that's going to let someone like Gary Sapinski there in that second place. Because I'd be more, it looked like maybe he was trying to fake out the 98, but this early in the race, it'd probably be a safer bet to say that he's just letting Austin pull him along. And the 6 of Brian Pierce, he's probably just like, I'm just going to go ahead and ride here. I'm getting a nice pull from you guys. Don't have to use up as much gas. Don't have to use up as much tire. He's in a bit of an interesting spot. If I was looking at the fuel estimates for these cars, for these trucks, I think it was about 45 laps of fuel is how much, I was seeing. But at the same time, you can do a lot here at Kentucky to save fuel. So if these guys are able to save some gas to get halfway, Brian Pierce is in the perfect spot, really. He's getting a nice, good pull here for Gary Sapinski and Austin Collins. Doug Lockrow's not really pressuring him, so he's not having to ride too hard. So he may be able to save some fuel, be able to make it to that halfway mark when we stop one time. But if these guys are pushing at all, saving, more than likely I'd see that pit window. When people start thinking about pit, more than likely around lap 30, between lap 30 and 40, you should see our first round of pit stops. If people don't want to say it, it's a great thing about the racing here and how these guys run tracks like Kentucky. There's a lot of different pit strategy that can really come into play. And it'll be interesting to see how that goes on as the race winds down. But here on lap 18, I think we are pretty single filed out right now. We're going to go ahead and take our first ride along with one of our drivers. I think we're going to go ahead, we're going to ride along with 37 of Doug Lockrow, our 4th place driver. Get an idea of what's going on. We were watching through there going into lap 21, sorry, these guys coming through up on the 9 of John Held. John, I do believe, missed the start. He's been running, he's up against the wall, but he was running, I think he missed the start. He's been running pretty high just about the entire race, just trying to stay out of the way. Not certain if something's going on with John, but not having a 50 good night. He currently runs 15th lap down, still up in the wall. I guess just trying to stay out of these guys' way. Not wanting to hold anybody up. So that'll put him now 2 laps down. So back to the lead. Austin Collins, Gary Sapinski, Brian Pierce, these guys are able to get past him pretty easy. But if you're up there literally riding the wall, that will make that easy on just about everyone behind you. Now, we were riding the 37 of Doug Lockrow, and we were listening to him. He's lifting, he's backing up his corners. He's already really starting to feel this tire wear. So, he's got to wait so long to get back in the throttle. This turn 4 wall, it'll come at you quick, especially if you chew off that right front tire. It bites hard. Now, I've seen a lot of guys just, their race just end because of contact with that turn 4 exit wall. But also what we were watching is from his perspective, we were seeing that 6 truck, he's really starting to struggle with that turn 2 exit. I mean, we saw him flirting with that wall 2 laps in a row, getting really close to it. I mean, he's using every bit of tarmac. But I bet you he's really working that throttle, trying to get that thing to turn. And unfortunately, you know, Gary Sapinski, he's got to deal with that dirty air off the 98 of Austin Collins. Gary only has to deal with the dirty air off of 1 truck. Brian Pierce is having to deal with the dirty air off of 2 trucks, and that is not, I mean, that's not going to help it. Like, the further you are back in the field, the worse the dirty air is. And I'm not certain, let me see, the 37, he's sort of fallen off a little bit, about a second back from our leader, Austin Collins. I'm not certain, did he fall back to try and reduce the effect of that dirty air, or did he fall back because he's really starting to feel that tire wear? I'm not entirely certain. I mean, I'd say more than likely the 51 here of Craig Mayer, he's probably feeling that tire wear just a little bit more. I mean, he was pushing pretty hard to get up there to get to Doug Lockrow. Keep with him. Remember, Doug started 7th, currently running 4th. Craig started 6th, currently running 5th. So he was really pushing pretty hard, I want to say, to keep up with that 37. And while we're talking about you people in the field pushing pretty hard, 777 to Michael Pegg, I mean, he's hanging right here with the 51 of Craig Mayer. Be willing to bet what he did is he just caught Craig and decided, I'm just going to chill here, but he dives it low here, just trying to keep that clean air on the front of that truck. He was pushing really hard to get up through this field. Remember, he started back in 10th, making up 4 positions, running in the 6th spot right now. He's 3 seconds back. I mean, he was pretty close to our leader, Austin Collins, who has started to stretch that gap between himself and Gary Sapinski. He's about 0.4 of a second. Clean air is king here, and Austin Collins is showing us why. I think Austin Collins, probably one of the more talented drivers that I have had the pleasure of racing with here at Kentucky. If you can keep up with this man, he'll show you exactly how to run this track. All you've got to do is stay close enough to see when he's braking, hear when he's getting out of the throttle. You can guess from there the kind of brake that he's using, you know, the amount of throttle he's using. But you can learn a lot from just following Austin Collins here at Kentucky. But that's the key, is you got to keep up with him. Somehow this man runs ridiculously fast here, lap over lap over lap. And I do not know how he does it. Gary Sapinski here has fallen back to 0.7 of a second. So he's really starting to feel that tire wear. He's not able to get this truck to do exactly what he wants it to do. Now, with Gary falling off here, what that means is the 98 ahead of him. I mean, he doesn't need to build a massive gap between himself and the 78. He just needs to maintain. So if he can just maintain about a 0.5 second gap between himself and Gary, that'll let him save a lot of tire in the long run. Keep those tires fresher, longer, be able to make speed later in this race. Gary now just about a full second back. While we were talking about this, 37 of Doug Lockrow was able to get past the 6 of Brian Pierce, who definitely looks like he is dealing with some handling issues in this truck, as is to be expected. I mean, 30 laps here. Kentucky is I mean, I believe it's an asphalt. I don't think this is a concrete track. I think it's an asphalt track. Regardless, it is a cheese grater. Behind him, we have the 51 of Craig Mayer, 3.5 seconds back from our leader, but looks like he's slowly reeling in that 6 of Brian Pierce as he makes his way through turns 3 and 4, maintaining a pretty decent gap between himself and the 777 of Michael Pegg. Michael really feeling that dirty air here further back. He was able to get himself a decent gap between himself and the 77 of Lee Staples. He's having a pretty good evening. Lee here started 16th, currently running 9th. No, I can't read. He's currently running 7th, made up 9 positions. My apologies. So definitely our biggest mover of the evening. He's just taking his time, slow and methodical around the track. He's sitting just about 6 seconds back from the leader, but I mean, he's definitely taking good care of his stuff, getting as much out of this car as he can. See, he's already moved up sort of to the middle lane going through turns 1 and 2. As I almost completely missed it, we did have a round of green flag stops. 59 of Ralph Blair came down pit road. He brought the 89 of Randolph Richard with him, as well as, let me find the, there we go, as well as what looks like the, no, the 91 did not, but the few of them came down pit road. Austin Collins here. So it was Ralph Blair, Randolph Richard, Gary Whitmer Sr. Those the guys who came down pit road. But our leader, Austin Collins, he's opted to come down pit road here on lap 36. So I'll go ahead and give the lead here to the 78 of Gary Slapinski. Caution is out. That is not ideal. Who's that? Let's see the 6. Oh, 6 is slow. I've been blown to bed. I know exactly what happened. And we'll skip back and we'll take a look at this. Looked like maybe not exactly what I thought it was. Ooh, the 6 hits the wall there. Oh, not what you want to see. Ah, let's go back and take a look at that. I want to say it looked like, go ahead and see if we can get a little better view. This may work. So the 6 going through turns 3 and 4, just in there too hard, doesn't have the grip, hits the wall, and he's coming down the track. I bet you maybe he was thinking pit road, not entirely certain, but he was thinking about coming down that track at the exact same time we saw the 777 coming through there. We're going to ride along with Michael Pegg through this one. And that's that helpless feeling. He saw the 6 coming down the track and just really know where he could go. The best thing he could hope to do is try and beat the 6 to corner exit. Because, if he lifts there, he's still getting hit. Not certain if the 6 knew the 777 was there or not, but it definitely the definition of I mean, there's no real way around it. I mean, I don't think necessarily that he was keeping an eye on the track around him. He was just trying to get off that wall. And like I said, I looked like maybe thinking about pit road. But that is a difficult thing to do from right up there against the wall. So that goes ahead and that shuffles our field a little bit. So the 90. Let's see, he's up front here. Yeah, so the 98 went a lap down just after that caution came out. 78 of Gary Sapinski was able to get around Austin Collins. Now he just came down pit road, so he's going to have the benefit of that wave around. So he gets to go around, get back on the lead lap as soon as we get that one to go. But unfortunately for Austin here, just right in the middle of that pit cycle. So the absolute last time you want to see a caution like that. Now we do look like we have a few other people also going to get their lap back. I believe that's 59 of Ralph Blair. So Ralph currently showing is 29 seconds behind. So him, Austin, 89 of Randolph Richard. Who's that? The 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. So these 4 drivers all going to be getting the wave around here to get back on the lead lap. All of them had pitted within 5 laps of that caution. So our leader on this start is going to be the 78 of Gary Sapinski, who's probably thinking his lucky stars that he pushed that pit option, just, pushed it out a few extra laps. But behind him, we got 2 guys who've already shown a lot of speed. That's the 37 of Doug Lockrow and the 51 of Craig Mayer. Both of these guys exceptionally fast. Gary Sapinski does have that preferred bottom lane, so he should be able to get past them, but we'll see. I'm fairly certain the 37 and the 51 are teammates, if the similar paint schemes is anything to go by. But the 777 of Michael Pegg, this is kind of where he wants to be for this pretty much, right there along the outside. Be able to get a good run off of turn 2, be able to fire that truck deep into turn 3, try and get some position on these guys up to 4th after that caution. So almost guaranteed after that hit, he went ahead and took one of his 2 allotted fast repairs. So go ahead and we'll go through our top 5. We have the 78 of Gary Sapinski, who inherited the lead off of that caution through the pit cycle. The 37 of Doug Lockrow to the outside in 2nd. Inside in 3rd, we have the 51 of Craig Mayer to the outside in 4th, the 777 of Michael Pegg. And finally in 5th, we have the 19 of Mr. Ben Gear, as Gary Sapinski leads him through turns 3 and 4. Pace car should be diving off for pit road here any second now. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to ride along with the 77 of Lee Staples on this restart. I think it should be a blast. We saw the 77 lose a couple spots there on that restart, but from what we were looking at on that first run, Lee seemed doing a lot to just try and save his stuff towards the end. I mean, he went from 16th up to 6th. This guy knows what he's doing. He is keeping that truck under him. At the same time, I mean, he did a pretty good job there. He was able to tell when he was just about 3 wide. He was able to go ahead and move and negotiate the trucks around him, still running here in the 6th position, right where he restarted. So he dropped back a couple spots and then got him right back. I mean, he was watching those guys ahead of him, almost had a little bit of a moment between the, looked like the 6, the 91, and the 19. Everyone got it going, pointed in the right direction. So was good heads-up driving from everybody. We need to take a second to go ahead and look at the 98 of Austin Collins. Remember, he's put a lap down under that green flag pit cycle. Had a caution just as he was setting to come off pit road. Would have probably got his lap back within a lap or two of coming off pit road, but unfortunately we had that caution come out. So he went to the back essentially with a wave around that'll stick you at the tail end of the longest line, him and 4 other cars. He's already moved his way from the back of the field up to 9th. He's working his way pretty expertly through this field as he goes ahead and gets past the 19 of Ben Gear to put himself in 8th. Looking to make that 7th place here going through turns 3 and 4 as he gets to work on the 111 of John Henderson. John, though, got that outside, got a really nice run going through the corners. They're 3 wide for a second behind him. They sort it back out 2 wide. Austin Collins he's not going to push this truck too hard. He knows that he still has one more green flag stop that he's going to have to make. And he's only 2 seconds back from the leader. And I would say closing. He's getting closer. So he goes from 2 seconds to, we saw 1.8 there for a second, 1.9. He's got a nice pull from the 111 ahead of him. So I expect we're going to be talking about Austin Collins here in the top 3 before this race is over. And as we're talking about the top 3, Gary Sapinski out here in front, doing his best to make it look easy. Behind him, he's got a little bit of a hornet's nest. 51, the 777, the 37, and the 6. All of these guys, they're racing 2 wide here. I'd say this is a 4-way battle. You could argue 4-way battle. I'd say right now 3-way battle. This is a battle for second. Right here, Michael Pegg coming off of turn 4. Looks like he's the one who comes out ahead as they go down into turn 1. As he drops down, is able to take air off the nose of that 51 car. It was a 51 truck, but that 51 Doug Lockrow not given an inch. See, Aero pushes Michael Pegg little deeper than we're used to seeing Michael go here in turn 3 and 4. He's got his teammate Doug Lockrow right behind him, both of these guys. The 777 of Michael Pegg, Gary Sapinski, need to hope that these guys are not able to get a good push going down any of these straightaways. 51 and the 37, once they get together, they're hard to break apart. They're about as hard to break apart as the 777 and the 78 are. As the 777 goes for a pass low on Gary Sapinski, Michael Pegg wants to get that lap led, but I don't know if he's going to have the momentum to be able to keep that position. No, he leads this lap. Bonus point to Michael Pegg right there at the halfway mark. Gary Sapinski, though, he's stuck outside. Doug Lockrow, Craig Mayer, he is pushing Michael Pegg for all he's worth. Trying to do what he can to get past Gary Sapinski. Now, Craig here diving it down low, looking to see if he can get that position. Gary Sapinski giving him a bit of a side grab. That's really going to hurt his forward momentum coming off this corner. 2 teams of 2 out here. Michael Pegg, Gary Sapinski. We got Craig Mayer and Doug Lockrow. Those are the 2. They're not lined up here for this corner. Craig going to be able to pop up high, pick up his teammate. All this side-by-side racing, all this is bringing the guys a little bit further back here in the top 10 up into the picture. I mean, for a minute there, they were pulled away from, Lee Staples, Brian Pierce, John Henderson. They were kind of left behind, and now they are right back up in the mix. And it's also now 98 of Austin Collins. He's just kind of hanging on to the back of his group. Remember, he's had to race his way from the back. Right now, he's just being able to just ride around and watch these guys ahead of him burn their stuff up as they race for position. 51 and 37, a lot just to try and make up some kind of time on the guys ahead of them. Now, we saw towards the end of that first run, these 2 really started to fall off there towards the end, but I don't think they were ever quite able to get linked up and really work together. They seem to be able to do that a lot better this run. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do another ride along here with the, I'm thinking, let me see here. I think we're going to ride along here with our pole sitter, the 98 of Austin Collins. See kind of what he's doing to get through this traffic back here. Like I mentioned, I think we're going to be talking about Austin Collins in the top 3 before this race is over. Phenomenal run here from the 98 as we rode along. We got to see him go around the 111 of John Henderson. Not an easy thing to do to be able to get past John. I mean, I know that we are about 24 laps into this green flag run. I mean, John came down pit road with all those guys the last time. So only about 22 laps, my apologies, on these tires. It's not easy to get past John Henderson at that point in a run. I mean, he's still got a lot of grip in that truck. So the fact that Austin was able to just send it as hard as he did around the outside through turns 3 and 4 is rather impressive. He's keeping right up here with the 6 of Brian Pierce. Trying to run just a little bit different line, still to be able to get a little bit of a pull from the 6, but at the same time not be right behind him. So he starts looking low here going through the tri-oval. He's able to draw right up alongside with the 6, complete that pass going here through turn 1. So that puts Austin Collins up into the 6th position. He made up about 3-4 tenths of a second on the leaders, just getting around Brian Pierce. So as we are headed towards that second round of green flag stops, Austin here is going to be a difficult guy to hold off. I mean, we talk about Gary Sapinski and his ability to pit. Austin Collins is just as good, so I would not put it past him to make up a second and a half on pit road. And we'll go ahead and we'll pop up to our lead. Michael Pegg here sitting about 2 tenths ahead of Gary Sapinski, who still has a rear view mirror full of that 51. Doug Lockrow and Craig Mayer, these guys have not gone away. And I'm sorry I got it incorrect. I think the 37 right there on Gary Sapinski's back bumper. These guys putting a lot of pressure forward. Really, I mean, it looks like they're really forcing that 78 and that 777 to run maybe a little bit harder than they would like to, and that's something that the 98 of Austin Collins would love to see. He'd love to see these guys push the 78 and the 777 far harder than they'd like to be going. Like I mentioned, we're going to be looking at our second round of green flag stops here before too long. Just about all these guys came down pit road 28 to 30 laps ago. And that's going to do... Oh, I didn't realize that. It is really quiet from the tower. I mean, you get the best view of the track and of the cars from the tower view, but I don't know, maybe I need to not yak quite as much. I didn't realize how much quieter that camera was. Not every track we go to has that camera. But no, these guys up here, I mean, they came down to be 30. Oh, here we go. Said it was going to stop here pretty soon. Michael Pegg is the first of our takers. Coming down pit road here on lap 66, coming to lap 67. Looks like he wants to beat Austin Collins to the punch. Definitely wants to beat Gary Sapinski. I mean, you don't want to pit too many laps ahead of Gary, because he'll just, those fresh tires that he'll have will just eat you up. But at the same time, you don't want to pit after Gary, because then you definitely won't catch him. As they come around, putting Michael Pegg one lap down. That'll put the 98 of Austin Collins in the 4th position. Now, I'd expect Austin here, he's going to more than likely pit in the next 2 laps, would be my guess. Gary Sapinski opting to keep it out here on track, and we've seen him do this time after time, and it seems to lead to victories just about every time he does it. He keeps it out on track later than most other folks normally would bring it down pit road. He's really got to think about when he wants to come down. Because that 98 is just getting bigger in that rear view. It brings him around 37, 51, 98, all staying out with him. All these guys on just about the same age tires. Just about the same amount of fuel. Go ahead and give you an idea. Michael Pegg came down pit road just a minute ago. His last time by was a second as Gary Sapinski brings it down pit road. Looks like he was able to make pit road speed, brought the 51 with him. I mean, he came in hot. Hopefully he didn't get himself a pit road penalty. But these guys giving up 1 second a lap to the 777 of Michael Pegg, who is a lap down, but he is coming. All this gives the lead to the 37 of Doug Lockrow. Austin Collins, he graduates to the 2nd position. 37 coming down pit road, looks like the 98. Ooh, sending it on the pit road, almost lost it getting on, down off the track onto the apron. Right, and he had a fair distance between himself and the 37's rear bumper, and he is right on him coming onto pit road. That is a daring pit road entry, but we mentioned that it would not be surprised to see this man make up the time that he lost getting through the field, just making it up on pit road. So this will give the lead to our 777 Lee Staples. Second currently be the 111 of John Henderson. Both these guys trying to get a lap lead here. Let's go ahead and we'll take a second here and go ahead and we'll check in with the 78 of Gary Sapinski, currently running in the 5th position. And you know how I said he was going to make up time? Austin Collins, side by side with Gary Sapinski, both of these guys on almost brand new tires. Only about a lap or 2 difference between the two of them. Austin Collins came down. It's 1 lap difference between these two guys' tires. They are side by side. Austin Collins was able to send it, I would say, a lot harder onto pit road than Gary Sapinski was. These guys, this is going to be your battle for the win here. Watch these guys go around the track. This is not, I mean, these guys are going to be racing exceptionally hard at this point. I mean, on the one hand, they're going to do everything they can to save their tires, but also they need to catch that 777 of Michael Pegg. Remember, Michael Pegg came down pit road before these two did. And I almost completely forgot about that. I was looking here on my track map, and Michael Pegg, he made up a lot of time by coming down pit road early. Now, he came down 4 laps before Gary Sapinski, so he's going to be dealing with some tire fall off at this point. Has he? I don't know if he's made up enough ground. I don't think he has to be able to really take advantage of everything that he got. It looks like the 78 and the 98 are catching the 777. Normally I'd say slowly, but I'm not necessarily certain that is the case. 111 of John Henderson has been out longer than anybody else. Currently 39 laps on this run. You see a lot of people who come down pit road. They're going ahead and getting their lap back. He's still out, looking like he's ducking down towards the bottom. Maybe thinking pit road this time. Nope, staying out. So that will be 40 laps here for the 111. As we were talking about, I didn't think he made up enough time. Michael Pegg has been caught and passed by Gary Sapinski, and that's that 98 of Austin Collins, and by Michael as well. I mean, I'd say he didn't really have a choice. There was no way he was going to beat these guys by staying out, but at the same time, it doesn't look like he was going to beat these guys by coming early either. Unfortunately, just not able to make up enough time on the track with those fresher tires. His lap times are already down to a 31.3 the last time by. We'll see what they are this time. This time not having to drive side by side. He's down to a 31.2. So Michael is really pushing here, trying to make up some time, and just unfortunately not able to get what he needed. Maybe cooked off one of those tires a little bit more than he had expected. Gary Sapinski and Austin Collins, though, these guys only about 10 laps on their tires. They've already lost 7/10 of a second. They're doing about 31 flats going around this track currently. Seeing just lap times, how much tire wear matters here. And also, you watch the 98 of Austin Collins. He's trying some things just to see, just get a feel for where Gary Sapinski's good, where Austin's better. See, that last time by, he took that high lane coming out of turn 4 and was right on Gary Sapinski's back bumper. This time, he had to go for that lower line. And he's still hanging right with him, but it doesn't look like he's really building any kind of momentum currently. Goes running that high side, sort of dives the corner a little bit, and and that's where that momentum seems to come from. Now, it looks like it didn't get what he wanted really out of that one. It looked like he lost a little bit of time, but I say that, and then he's, boom, right there. Made it all up, going through turns 1 and 2, trying to get to a quarter panel on that 78, try and drag him back. That is not going to be an easy thing to do. Gary Sapinski very good at racing one eye looking out the windshield, one eye looking in the rear view mirror. He knows what Austin Collins is doing. He knows where Austin's good here. As Austin's able to, like he maybe gave a little bit of a bump to the 78 and moved him up the track just a little bit. Gary Sapinski trying to hang on to that right rear quarter panel, try and drag that 98 back. He's going to have the run going down the backstretch. As they head here into turn 3, I would give Gary Sapinski the edge here on corner exit, and he did. He got him. But running up a little bit higher, Austin Collins Gary not able to really break away from Austin there. Austin did a fantastic job, excellent throttle control, being able to stay in it. The 111 of John Henderson is still out, 47 laps on this stint. He is only about a second slower than these guys. He's got about a half-second lead on him. He's playing that long game, hoping that he can get a caution. If he can get a caution, he comes down pit road first, be the first guy on fresh tires. Would be my guess. You see Gary Sapinski, he's moved up more to that middle lane. Rather than running the bottom like he was, he's already building a little bit of a gap between himself and the 98, but we've seen this before. I'd be willing to bet that 98's just trying to lull that 78 into a false sense of security. So go ahead and we check in with our leader. Second and third are currently 11 and 12 seconds behind John Henderson. John, being able to be out here and sort of just enjoy the clean air while he's got it. He's sending that thing pretty hard in turns 1 and 2. You see him running, right up there, high side, middle, then he's dropping it down low in turn 2, just running out past to be able to make that corner. That car having lost a ton of pace, he's just doing everything he can to keep really on the track, pointed in the right direction. So he makes 50 laps here on this run. How many laps does he have left? I don't think he's got the 13 laps he needs to make it to the end of this race on this tank of fuel. So it looks like he is keeping it low here, going towards the backstretch. I'd be willing to bet that he went ahead, told that car, that truck going around him, that he's coming to pit road this time, and he is. 111 coming to pit road for his final stop of the evening. He'll only have a 12-lap sprint to make to the end. That will give the lead here to the 78 of Gary Sapinski, followed by the 98 of Austin Collins, half a second behind him. These guys have checked out from Michael Pegg, 2.2 seconds to that third place truck. Something he's having to worry a little bit about here is he's got that 51 of Craig Mayer right there. Craig's already shown he's fast. His lap time's about a tenth better than Michael Pegg's per lap. The problem is making this fast. Once he compromises that line, as he goes here toward the inside, gets to the inside of Michael Pegg, maybe a little bit of contact there. Everyone keeps it just real close. I'd say more than likely less contact, more just a very aggressive side grab. As they bump doors there going through turns 3 and 4. Craig trying to make this work, everything that he's got, just not able to maintain that momentum like he needed there coming out of turn 4. We are 10 laps to go. He's running the bottom in that trioval, so that's giving him the opportunity to really slide it in there, but compromise in his line, loses a whole bunch of time going through there, had to get out of it or he was going to slide straight up the track and hit the wall. Like I said, he's faster than Michael, but it's that fact that he's got to try and make that pass. And once he compromises that line, all that momentum is just disappears. So I think for our last ride along for the evening, I think we're going to ride along with the 51 of Craig Mayers. He works on the 777 of Michael Pegg ahead of him for our last ride along of the night. You see the 111 in the background coming through. He's on fresh tires. He's going to be looking, I believe he went a lap down, so he'll be looking to try and get his lap back here in the last 8 or so laps of this event. We get the 5 lap to go notification. Looks like Michael Pegg able to get himself some breathing room there on the 51. Craig was maybe hoping that Michael was going to be stuck behind the 111 to John Henderson just a little bit longer. We saw that back the 777 up to the 51, but not enough that Craig was able to capitalize on it. Here we are with 4 laps to go. I think we're just going to go ahead and we're going to focus on this battle right here. Gary Sapinski managed to pull out 0.4 of a second here on Austin Collins, but it is, 4 laps to go. It is far from over. I've seen Austin Collins mount charges from further back with less laps than this. Did Austin save enough that he's got something for that 78 of Gary Sapinski, and they're going to have lap traffic to contend with. That 111, he's coming fast behind him. He wants that lap back. He came down pit road 9 laps ago. He is running a 1.5 seconds faster a lap than these guys. He's going to want to go by. Probably send it around the outside. It depends. I've also seen the 111 sort of just hang back and let the leaders duke it out. So that may be what he's doing. It looks like he's backed off a little bit. He had the momentum. He had the speed. He just fired around these guys. It looks like he is backed off here with 2 laps to go. He's going to let the 98 here and the 78 sort it out themselves. See Austin just firing it deep, just getting as much as he can, corner entry there into turn 3, and he just does not have the drive off of turn 4 that Gary Sapinski does. Gary backing up that corner entry going into turn 3, trying to get that best exit that he possibly can. As he maintains that 0.4 of a second gap between himself and Austin. We come around turns 3 and 4 for the final time. It'll be Gary Sapinski bringing home the checkered flag here at Kentucky Motor Speedway. Second to the 98 of Austin Collins. Third is going to go to a heroic effort from Michael Pegg to hold off the 51 of Craig Mayer. Craig comes home in fourth with his teammate, the 37 of Doug Lockrow, in fifth. That is your top 5 finishers of the evening. Fantastic run from all of these guys. As we take a second, we'll go ahead and we'll gather top 3 to the booth for interviews. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start here with our third place finisher, Mr. Michael Pegg. Michael, is William in the booth. You got me?
Yes.
Man, it's always a gamble. I think you were the one who told me that, pit strategy's like poker. You never know if you got a winning hand until you try and play it. Came down pit road just a little bit before these guys, built up a decent gap. And then it looked like you were fighting for your life to keep Craig Mayer behind you there for the end. Go ahead and walk us through that last lap run.
Yeah, I lost 2 pounds there when Craig came up on me. You're correct. I was fighting for my life. What a race. Yeah, those guys were tough tonight. It was a tight setup. You couldn't twist it off of 1 and 2 like I wanted to, and it would start wearing. That was where I was losing speed. But I get good tire wear.
This thing really didn't seem like it wanted to turn. It seemed, though, that it handled best if you had someone to work with. I mean, you and Gary there running up front there for a little while. I mean, you guys were fighting against the 37 and the 51, and so long as it seemed like you had 2 trucks working together, it was almost impossible to make your way around.
Yeah, and if you ran the right line, one guy could hold. The outside was faster, especially with newer tires. Yeah, it was really faster on the outside. I like running the bottom though because it saves the tires. So, it's kind of a mixture. I ran the bottom in the beginning. Just did what I had to do to try to get as many positions as I could. I had a really bad qualifying.
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, you started in 10th, made your way up to 3rd. Probably one of the more impressive drives through the field this evening. I want to go ahead and take a second. It just looked like you and Brian got your wires crossed there under that first caution. Go ahead and walk us through that real quick, because I mean that's pretty good recovery drive from being caught up in the wreck to finish in the top 3.
Yeah, the car was totaled. I don't know. I was barely limping it back. I don't know what happened. He said he came off the wall and I just came down. I don't know. Next thing I was up in the wall. But yeah, that was tough getting it back because it was driving like on 3 wheels. And I come into pit row, I don't know how I didn't get caught for speeding, but I didn't.
The pit road here is, I've noticed is pretty forgiving. I mean, I've seen people hit it going 15 mile an hour over for about a full second and not get dinged for speeding.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh no.
But I've seen some people go 1 mile an hour over on pit exit, and then they get too fast exiting. So it's a weird pit road here.
Yeah, I had to let off. I was 46 coming out. The speed limit was 45. I had to let off, so I almost got one coming out. I was trying to make as much time as possible because I figured if I got going, I could get 3 or 4 laps. I knew they were going to have fresher tires, but it's hard to make time here. Tonight, those guys were just walking away from me in the beginning. It was all I could do to catch them.
Well, I'd say a fantastic drive. I mean, I know that you're not a fan of tight race cars. To be able to bring this boat up through the field, finish in the top 3, I mean, that's testament to your skill as a driver. So congratulations on your podium finish there, Michael.
Thanks, sir.
Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Sure do. We'll thank we'll thank God himself. We'll thank all the regulators. We'll thank all the Lucky Dog members, all the people that watch. Thank you, Lucky Dog Broadcasting, William. Thank Brian for putting everything together. I want to thank Gary and Austin and Craig and Doug, Brian, all those guys coming out running tonight ran hard. Austin is always a handful as usual. And we want to thank Tracy, Molly, Cash, and Winston.
Well, again, congratulations on your finish, Michael. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and hopefully we get to talk to you next time.
Thank you, sir.
And so normally that would bring us to our second place finisher, the 98 of Austin Collins, but Austin is not in the TeamSpeak chat. Austin, get to... Oh, hold on. I did a thing. It was the wrong thing. Austin, get the TeamSpeak. I want to talk to you. You watching you drive is a phenomenal thing to watch from the booth. Racing against you is a phenomenal thing to do. Learn a lot from what's going on. But Austin, I want to tell you, you did good. So you did good. Congratulations. But get in the TeamSpeak so I can say that to your face.
Yeah, he's one hell of a driver.
So that will then bring us to our winner, the 78 of Gary Slapinski. Gary's women booth. You got me?
Oh, yeah.
So you guys had to do one. I mean, you had. I had a feeling. I had a feeling that it was this race was going to be decided on pit road, and I am, believe it or not, I am so happy I was wrong. You came down pit road that last time, and I thought for sure you beat Austin. You know, you're going to have those fresher tires. You're going to get out there. You're going to get away, and then somehow he came off pit road a lap after you, ahead of you. How were you able to pull that win off?
He took 2 tires and he's that last run there, that last stop, and he was able to stay with me there, right there, no problem. I was a little worried. I'll be honest with you. I kind of felt like he was gonna somehow pull it off. If he would have took 4 tires, I think he would have reeled this in. He's really good here. He's probably one of the best here. And I was just kind of lucky to kind of get there. I mean, it's hard. I think clean air is king, but it's definitely not my cup of tea here. But Michael does great here. I want to congratulate him and Austin. But it was. I had a lot of fun tonight, though. This truck was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a little tight, but I don't know. I felt like it was manageable.
How much do you think that caution coming out right in the middle of that pit cycle helped? Because I know that he got caught a lap down just when that caution came out. Do you think that might have played something in,
it was good for him.
Finish?
But it was good for him, but me and Michael were we can make it to 50, no problem. We would have made it to 50. We only have to do it on one stop. So that caution did hurt us, because we had a plan and that plan was scrubbed. So we had to go with, when the caution came out, to just either split it in half, or where I almost went to lap 70 in that last stop, and that was it.
Okay. I mean, so we saw John Henderson go just shade over 50 laps. So, it wasn't until after the caution that I realized we could get that far. Do you think the lap times weren't really falling off enough that pitting twice was an advantage?
No, I don't think it was. I really don't. I mean, I was saving then. I was clutching. The only place I could clutch was going into 3 and 4. I was hitting the clutch and saving fuel there. And I felt like we could definitely make it to 50. And that'd be no problem, one stop. And the lap times were a little off. Because in the beginning, I wasn't really saving all that much. I was behind Austin, kind of just cruising behind him. And then I felt like I need to save more fuel. Then you notice I started fading from him now, because I was just saving a little bit. And I felt like, all right, I can make it from here, no problem. And I saw him pit, and I was like, oh, he can't make it. So that's just good for me and Mike. And I don't know, Brian. I know Brian was real close. There was a couple people real close. And I was like, wow, we got it from here. But that caution came out and kind of ruined our plans.
I mean, it did lead to a lot of exciting racing there towards the end between, you, Michael, Austin, especially. Watching Michael try and hold off Doug Lockrow and Craig Bear was a lot of fun. I mean, you guys put on a hell of a show tonight.
Oh yeah, we definitely did. It was definitely a good TV tonight. I'm sure everybody enjoyed it. I hope they did.
Well, I want to go ahead and congratulate you on your win, Gary. That was definitely a hard-fought win. Made you earn it. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me same thing here. I want to thank God above, and I'm going to thank all my teammates. I'm going to thank Michael, Brian. Congrats on Austin. He did a great job tonight. Who else I'm going to thank? I'm going to thank you, Lucky Dog, and everybody out there watching. Hit the like, subscribe. Have a good night.
Well, again, congratulations on your win, Gary, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Hopefully we get to talk to you next time.
Thank you.
And I think that just about does us for the evening. We will have our late model stocks tomorrow night. Same channel, same place. We'll have our Xfinity Super Speedway Series on Saturday. Also, race starting at 8 p.m. Saturday evening. We take Sunday off, so we hope everyone, if you enjoy NASCAR or just having a day to yourselves, we hope you enjoy your Sunday, and then you'll see us back again on Monday with our Gen 4 Cup Series, and you'll hear from me again on Tuesday, 8 p.m. for our Gen 6 series, and I am looking forward to that. But I think that just about covers it. If you like what you watched, give us a like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like what you saw, give us a dislike, a comment, and a subscribe. Either way, I mean, I like hearing from the folks, if I could, remember to check the chat. But I remember to do that tonight. There was nothing in chat, but I remembered to check it tonight. But no, I like hearing from folks during the race, after the race, about what they liked, what they didn't like, and what we could do better. So all feedback is appreciated. Hope everyone has a fantastic evening. And until next time, I think we can all say, have a good one.
Stayed in this time to make sure it didn't lock down on you.